Well, welcome to Cove in the French Pyrenees, and this is the resort that's had the biggest snow depth in Europe this season at 5.9 metres, it claims. Huge amounts of snow. As I'm sure you can see behind me, the lift here still completely and utterly buried. Well, never actually quite seen a site like this before, completely buried in snow, and it's actually remained closed since February because of all the snow higher up. Huge amounts of snow Cove gets, though to prove that you can actually have too much of a good thing, the main linking lift from the village closed in February. The weight of the snow buckled one of the pylons. The day before the main French half-term break, the lift was deemed unsafe because of the weight of the snow pushing the pylon to one side, and caused huge problems for the resort. People had to get bussed up. Lift normally takes 2,000 people an hour, so huge problems for the resort. But amazing levels of snow here in Cove. And well, just to prove the point, arrived here last night, woke up this morning to about 15-20 centimetres of fresh snow, so not bad for the end of March. The town itself, well, amazingly pretty. It's a sort of traditional French town, really. Beautiful architecture, as you can see here, and really nothing like a sort of the normal image of a French ski resort, sort of high purpose-built apartments and all the rest of it, but a proper working and lovely town. Very pretty indeed. So I thoroughly recommend Cove. Not a huge area, but what there is superb. Good little nursery slopes, and some good steep terrain as well, so great little resort to come to. As you would have seen elsewhere on PlanetSKI, I'm currently on a road trip around the Pyrenees. We started off in the resort of Saint-Hilaire, which is, well, one of well, it's the biggest single resort in the French Pyrenees, 200 kilometres of slopes, and yeah, surprised by quite how extensive it was, and again, good variety of terrain. Lifts perhaps a little on the slow side, shall we say, but nevertheless it was windy, so they slowed them down for the wind. But yeah, a bit of an old lift system here, but nevertheless, personally I prefer the ride down rather than the ride up, and it gives access to some very good terrain indeed. Perhaps the highlight was going to the area called the Grand Tourmalet, which has, well, it has Barège at one end of it, which is a small, very pretty resort, lots of little tree runs, fairly easy, tame skiing, and a beautiful town here beneath the tree line. And then the other resort of Le Mongy, which is a great ski area. The resort itself, well, it's, you know, normal sort of French high altitude architecture, but once you're actually in the town itself, it felt again like a sort of French village, really. You can choose from, well, skis or salami here. There's a little market in town serving up some delicacies, and some great skiing as well. But the great claim to fame of this resort is, of course, the Pic du Midi Observatory. It was built in the 1870s, a fantastic achievement, and yeah, stunning views here. It's still very much a working scientific observatory in Europe. It was actually used, well, obviously to map out the solar system many years ago. It also worked out the rotation of Venus, I'm told, and was used extensively in the Apollo moon landings to spot where the various spacecraft should land on the moon. So very interesting place indeed. When we arrived here, we were lucky enough to be able to stay the night. Tourists can stay the night, but it was full. We managed to actually get some beds in the scientific quarters. So we slept in these rooms here, so fantastic little rooms, a bit like sort of student accommodation really, with a sort of bed and a desk and all the rest of it, but slightly better views than you'd probably get in your average student accommodation. And at night, well, we went out and had a look at the stars and at the moon, and very pretty, and it was a bit of an effort getting up at dawn at 5:30, but well worth it. Stunning views across the mountains here, and seeing the sun break over the mountains is always well worth it indeed. And we were lucky enough to get one of the telescopes going as well, so we were able to look at the stars first thing in the morning here. I spotted Mercury through the telescope, just a little white dot, but nevertheless I was told it was Mercury. And yeah, fascinating place. And then, well, the tricky bit was the ski down afterwards. It's really only for advanced skiers, but very interesting skiing down, and definitely one of the highlights of my trip to the French Pyrenees. As I said, we're on a road trip around the mountains, a bit exhausting packing and unpacking suitcases every day and every evening, but nevertheless great to see all these different little resorts as well. And one of the other resorts we bowled up into today was a Périguide, which again is a high altitude resort, a bit like the sort of traditional French architecture you get in the Alps. And we were lucky enough to turn up when the French National Championships were taking place. So we were able to see some of the top racers in France hurling themselves down the piste. Difficult conditions, icy first thing in the morning, but it's quite warm here, so it turns slushy by the afternoon. But nevertheless, it's fascinating and good fun to see all the racers bombing down the slopes here and going for the prize of being French national champion. Then in the evening, after skiing around the resort, well, we had a ride of the Peace Basher, which is amazing, fantastic machines. We went up to one of the mountaintop restaurants to have dinner, and great fun going up there. And yeah, Peace Basher rides always good fun. And then yeah, in the evening there was also a firework display. So, well, the French Pyrenees, I thoroughly recommend it. It's not like the Alps, the resorts aren't as big as you get in the Alps, but nevertheless great atmosphere, and it's sort of skiing really sort of how it used to be, without all the commercialism and the hype and everyone trying to you know, take money off you the whole time. I just had a cup of coffee in the resort here in Cotteret, just over €1 it was, so very nice to spend that amount on just a little coffee, and a fantastic area at the French Pyrenees. It's very near the Spanish border, so there's a bit of a sort of Spanish influence here as well, which means it's all, well, a little bit more laid back, I guess. The snow conditions at this time of year, as I said, good snow across the French Pyrenees. It's had an amazing season, but big danger of avalanche at the moment as the temperature has warmed up. Wet snow avalanches, well, they're all over the place, quite frankly. Very difficult for the authorities to determine the danger level. It's at 3 most of the time, but of course the rise in temperature means, you know, one slope first thing in the morning is safe as houses. A few hours later, when the temperature has warmed all the snow up, becomes very heavy and prone to avalanches. But nevertheless, great snow here. So, would I recommend the French Pyrenees for a holiday? Definitely. I think it's been a fascinating experience driving around here. There is only one British company that actually, well, British tour operator that comes here. That's Ski Collection. They offer holidays well across the main resorts of the French Pyrenees, so well worth checking out what they have to offer if you're interested in coming to the French Pyrenees. I said good snow record this year. Didn't have very good snow last year. Next year, who knows? Perhaps with all this snow here at the moment, some of it may even last till next year. This is James Cove for PlanetSKI at Cotteret in the French Pyrenees.